Well, hey now, folks. John Duffin here, Duffin Media. Great to have you aboard. Welcome back to another episode of Optimizing Your Communications by Leveraging Your Voice. I am thrilled to have you. Again, I happen to be connected with Duffin Media and Duffin Coaching. Go figure. So, by the way, if you are watching me on Facebook Live, that is great, good news. If you are watching me on Instagram Live, that is also great, good news. If you are watching me on LinkedIn Live, well, here's hoping, right? Here's hoping that I've got you on either Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, Instagram Live. We are here, and what are we going to get to do? What we get to be able to do today in some quick tips is to be able to, as I said, optimize your communications by leveraging your voice. What does that mean? Simply means this: quick takeaways that you can use starting this afternoon to help you improve your communications and, in essence, improve your results, not just for you, but the people that you lead, the colleagues that are part of your sales team or executive organization, or the clients that you get to serve. All of this puts you in a better place, right? Hey, here's some no ground rules, but here's some basic asks, right? If you are on LinkedIn Live, if you are on Facebook or Instagram, drop a note in the comments. There's a great chance, at least with Facebook and LinkedIn, that I'll get to see your comments and get to acknowledge you. If you're here with me live, drop a note in the comments so I know that you were here and we can cheer each other on. Folks, if you're watching the replay, that's more than cool enough too, okay? So we are here. We are, oh my God, we talked about yesterday about New Year, New You. We're not doing that. But we are going to talk about new opportunities, and we're going to continue to get to do that. And sometimes new is renewal. All right. So they don't have to be new or wildly different. Here's the inspiration. Tommy Kenyon live, baby. This real sweet tea, tech guru, and now podcast host. And I'm thrilled that you're here. So thanks for jumping on and jumping on live. Look, the fact of the matter is we talk about renewal. We talk about opportunity. Again, the New Year, New You stuff, but here's your first reminder and tip, okay? Right off the bat, let me go with it, which is simply this. Every communication is relevant. Every communication matters. I don't tell you that to intimidate you. I tell you that because it's an opportunity to either gain or lose momentum. In the beginning of the year, the odds are more stacked that you get a chance to gain opportunities, especially when you come to the realization that every communication matters. So when you know that, and you know that what you like, your next meeting, your next Zoom call, your next in-person speaking, whatever it happens to be, it matters. So you want to act as if it matters without making yourself uncomfortable. So, one of my faves, Sandra Lee, rock star. My God, author, presenter, rock star. Here's the thing, because every communication matters, because you get this opportunity to either gain or lose momentum. You want a quick random tip? Here's one. Make certain that your mind is as clear as possible when you are having that next communication. Nick Mershon, by the way, folks, so that you know, Mershons are good at baseball. They're also good at a lot of other things, business too. But when you know that your next communication matters, when you are in the present tense, here's the heads up. I get myself a little excited, which is fine. Do not check your phone as you're getting ready to walk into a meeting. Do not check your email. Do not. Why? As a former and recovering people pleaser, day to time, right? Yo. Bruno Marcinkowski, rock star, Happy New Year again. Thrilled that you joined us live. Do not check your phone. I'm telling you, the easiest way to cloud your mind is to see something you don't want to see. You're not going to be able to probably solve the problem. You're literally asking for an opportunity to freak yourself out. So, that proposal that you hadn't sent. Oh, the negotiation that just went south. Oh, your boss needs something in the next half hour and you've got an hour meeting planned. You just don't need to see it as you're walking into an encounter. Again, remember, point A, every communication matters. The client, the team, the colleagues, your bosses are not going to really care that you just set yourself off. You're not going to care. So the fact of the matter is, what do? That email not only can wait, it has to wait. It has to wait. It's got to wait for a few minutes, literally, because all of this is focusing your attention. Everything that we do here in terms of Duffer Media is helping you focus your attention on situational things. All right. So you see, oh my God, they never got that. All the client's going to know, even if you explain, oh, I just got this, phone call and oh, this text or email. Even if you explain it, what do you think the vibe is of you sounding distracted or bugged about a situation? And now it's your time to work with the next person. What do you think the vibe is when they are hearing that sense of tension coming from you? Anyone? You drop it in the comments. What are you thinking? I'll go first. I'm not trying to be selfish here. Well, there you go, right? Carrying energy from that to the present. I love it. By the way, know who doesn't love it? The client, your colleagues, the boss. They want to know there's something to be said for someone feeling heard. Okay. Just got off a coaching call where that was one of the main takeaways. Does your team feel heard? Big deal, right? So if you're carrying baggage, whether it's long-term baggage, whether it's long-term baggage, whether it is situational baggage, whether it's something you got from 5 minutes ago, they don't care. They don't care. All they know is they're not coming first because you've got this in the back of your head. So, with that being said, by the way, I love mystery users, LinkedIn user. I love you. They're stressed. They're not present with you. Damn right. But here's the thing. It's an easy fix. Literally, don't check the phone as you're walking into a meeting. Folks, I'll give you a story, an example, life lesson. I used to travel a lot for the companies that I worked with and would be on the road all the time. We'd be going to national sales offices and, oh my God, I'm already happier. Folks, Lisa Leonard, who is no mystery guest. Lisa Leonard, serious voiceover talent and one of my all-time favorite colleagues who has helped me tremendously. But I let myself get distracted just because I'm such a fan of Lisa Leonard. Thank you. Here's the thing. So when you are distracted, it's not just that you're going to lose your train of thought. It's also that you're going to lose that sense of full engagement. People want to know that you're mattered. So back to the example. I'm traveling a lot for work, and then I would go to the national office, and then we would meet the client together, a unified team, and now we're going to go see the client. I would often hop in the car with whoever the team leader was with my company. And the fact of the matter is, too, so you get in the car and you're driving away, and the leader has got a conference call going on her phone. And the conference call is going this frenetic, weird pace, and everybody's got to be contributing, and the energy is just weird on the call. Weird. So here's what's happening. You cannot be dialed in to that next communication nearly as well. Don't deceive yourself, folks. You think you're getting more stuff done. You're not. You're getting less done. Why? You're not all in on the conference call. where they're batting out these raw numbers. And you're certainly not going to be all in regards to the next communication. So don't check your phone. Let it wait. When the meeting concludes, handle it. Handle it. Out of office replies are great, but that sense of sounding distracted or frenetic or concerned or bored, often the clients don't know the difference. So again, in this sequence, what we're looking at is this, the reminder, every communication matters. Practical tip, do not check your phone prior into walking into a meeting or a conference call. Do not. Focus on the matter at hand and then focus on them and give that call or the attention that it deserves. Okay. What that does, it enables the receiving party to feel heard and understood. That engagement is critical. Let me give you an example. Like, look, sometimes it's longer term work that puts you in a situation of free. Quick story time. One of my all-time favorite motivational speakers is Mel Robbins. She is, to me, the gold standard. Gets me every time, practically, business-wise, emotionally. She just gets it. I'm re-listening to one of her Audible books. And so I'm hearing it, and she's talking about remembering that you're the driver. You're the driver. The freedom that's involved when you got your license or you can drive anywhere you want to go. Folks, deep, dark secret. People don't think I'm a great driver. All right, it wasn't that dark of a secret. But the fact that what happens is this. People, I come to learn, people didn't want to ride in the car with me. They felt like I was either too distracted or whatever. So I often drove alone. You could really clear out a lot of baggage. I never cared if nobody was in the car with me. I just didn't. But why do I say that? The freedom of the driving. I remember that. I used to drive a car, convertible, maybe about 20, 25 years. And I can just remember when the weather was just right and you throw the top down. It was such a freeing situation. It was a privilege too, and I know that. But for over 2 decades, I had that freedom. And what it would do is clear my head. Remember when I was talking about longer term situations? Everything that we teach, preach, coach at Duffin Media and Duffin Coaching, motivational, absolutely. Practical business, absolutely. But none of it replaces longer term work, such as, look, I've had therapy. I'm going to give you a classic example of how that worked for me. I'm also in recovery, and I don't tell you that to impress you, and I'm certainly not going to go through a long version of that here. But one of the reasons I bring it up is I can remember early on in recovery for me where I was all frayed edges and frayed nerves, jagged edges, and I had a big presentation, largest advertising agency in the region. And so I was feeling really out of sorts and at times, bluntly, a little desperate based on situational things. I none of that was easy for me early on, the recovery part, the need to do it. And I can remember meeting the largest agency in the region. I had been in their office a ton of times. I typically was the cheerleader, people pleaser type, rah, 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 what have you. And I can recall having a really key meeting with someone, and I didn't have the bandwidth to be the people pleaser that day. I just didn't have it. And so I spoke from the heart. The material was there. It was probably more raw than a lot of client meetings that I've had. And I remember leaving the meeting thinking that was an awful meeting. I just wasn't on my game. I wasn't on. That person thought it was a great meeting, and we forged a relationship. One of the senior vice presidents, we forged one of the strongest relationships I ever had. Was I aware at that moment that my rawness, my ability to clear out clutter, to just be myself, that sense of authentic speaking would be what I preach today? No, not at all. Not at all. So here's your next tip. Any opportunity to clear baggage is a good one. Just like every communication is an important one, any chance to clear baggage. Now, that tip of don't check your phone, that's so you don't add more. Here's your tip for making certain that you're removing some things. Folks, anyone on the call, if you've heard me talk about the Navy SEALs breathing technique, give a shout out in the comments. I keep raising my hand. I'm not going to see your hand raising. If you've heard me talk about the Navy SEALs breathing technique, drop a note in the comments and let me know. And if you haven't, the good news about this tip, it takes 16 seconds. Now, I'm going to do it because I feel a little keyed up. So it's going to help me, and hopefully it helps you. What happens in 16 seconds with the Navy SEALs breathing technique? Well, I'll show you. Want to jump in? Okay, done. Seated, standing, don't care. You're going to inhale for 4 seconds, right? Here we go. We're going to hold for 4 seconds. We're going to deeply inhale or exhale for 4 seconds. And then we're going to hold for 4 more seconds. Boom. Even with the explaining, it was probably in the 20s in terms of seconds. What does that do? Well, for the Navy SEALs, what it does, here's the science. It takes the strongest, most classically trained, athletic endurance Navy SEALs candidates and pulls them out of a panic mode. Life and death, drowning situations, panic modes, right? Your next sales call, your next team meeting probably isn't as panicky as you think, but it works for them. What does it do? It pulls some of the tension out of you. Bonus tip, and I call it the body of evidence. When you do this, you're putting yourself in a position to win and clear the baggage. So, right off the bat, as you are doing that 16 seconds of breathing, the body of evidence part, you're going to think about something you've done that's cool. It's not a contest. Don't worry about, oh, well, he's, ran a marathon. Who cares? Or, oh, he won the Olympic gold medal. Well, who cares? What did you do that's cool that you liked about yourself? Something that you've done. So I say that because you're cementing a little bit of confidence that's happening, which is clearing a little bit of that tension away from you. Like I said, I'm grateful to say I've had several examples, whether it's leading a strong team meeting or closing a deal, or I wasn't kidding, running a marathon. And I'm thinking about, my God, I ran that marathon, first one in Chicago, and I'm running 26 miles in Chicago, seeing it at a vantage point that I never saw in my life, right? And I just remember, I'm like, I'll never finish this. And then I did. I only say that because I'm reminded that situationally, you're walking in thinking, if I don't close this deal, if I can't get my team engaged, it's all going to be okay. But how you heard it is coming in distracted and tense and weird, because people hear that. More importantly, they feel it. So when they feel it, they pull back, right? So the sense of, we talk about the driving, the freedom of the driving. You want to feel a little more free? Do the Navy SEALs breathing technique just to clear some of that baggage. Maybe we go back to the rawness of when I talked about that sense of feeling free enough to speak from the heart for one of the first times in my life and not worrying about the ramifications. Whether it's realizing you've done really cool things in your life. One of my all-time favorite people, go, Keith Norman, go. You're just such a rock star. Love Keith Norman. And it's what you find is this. You're going to get pulled in a lot of different directions early in the year. How do I know? Because I've lived that, whether it's your own self-induced panic, if I don't get this done by the end of January, blah, 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 or when you're in a corporation and you've got colleagues and subordinates and bosses, and everyone's agenda is different. Often none of their wishes or desires are yours, although we will all want to act as one collective team. And you find it's like, no, they're caring about this. Oh no, he or she or they are caring about that. So we're all in it together, and often we're all coming at it alone with our own personal baggage. So my thought is you want to make certain that if going back to point A, that every conversation matters. And you remember that's an opportunity, not a panic mode sort of thing. Everyone matters. So rather than worry about new year, new you, let's talk about practical, what can matter, what can you influence that can move the needle forward for you, your team, your organization. So as I said, when you know that every conversation matters, when you know not to sabotage yourself by checking your phone as you're walking into the conference room or to your sales meeting or to your team and worrying and finding something new to worry about as if you don't have enough. The old trick used to be put the phone in the trunk if you're driving, but at the very least, get it out of the room. You could check all your panicky emails or texts or calls after that communication is over. Give the total amount of engagement and respect to the people that you're speaking to, because again, they'll hear it in your voice. And what else? Yeah, they'll feel it. Right, exactly. So that's where the respect and engagement and buy-in comes from. So if you're walking in with stuff that you can't get rid of, and like I shared in my example before, point blank, it's like I was having a really difficult time 23 years ago, really difficult for personal reasons. And I shared one of them, and I go into recovery because I needed to. I think the consensus was unanimous that nobody was sad that I went into recovery. But I didn't know what to do early on at all. I didn't have the privilege of not being able to work. So I just started to have the meetings that were scheduled. And I was able to speak more raw and free simply because I had no other choice in my mind. I didn't know what else to do, so I just did. I felt then that it was a problem. I learned that became a gift, and that's the gift that I share with all of you. The ability to pull things off your plate or compartmentalize and bring them back as you need them, but don't bring them into the sales meeting, the team meeting, the presentation, the listing agreement, because no one will really understand. So to recap today, real fast. Every communication matters, and that's an opportunity, and it's good news. So don't sabotage yourself. Put the phone down as you're walking in or driving over or whatever the case is. Put it away. Come back to it afterward. Don't allow for a new distraction. Oh, your mom called and she's not doing well, or the client's upset about this. Don't do it. All right. Number 3, if there's longer term work to be done to remove some baggage, none of what I do, the situational things, replaces longer term work. Preparation of materials, fully knowing the situation, coming from a place of contribution, none of that matters, right? I'm saying in terms of how you get there, it all matters. But what I mean is that it doesn't matter. It's like do the work. It doesn't replace anything. All right. But short term, try the Navy SEALs breathing technique. Just get your head a little bit more in the game. You're pulling some baggage away and compound it. Bonus tip: with the body of evidence, which is what have you done cool in your life? You don't have to tell me point blank. You don't. You know, you've done at least one cool thing. Start to between the end of this session, which is going to happen in a minute or so. At the end of this session and the next time we connect, start to build your own body of evidence. Think about it, maybe for a minute today. What are some cool things you've accomplished in your life? Think about them, right? Have them at the ready so that you can feel confident, secure, engaged, and give people that sense, that freedom. They can hear the freedom in you, that sense of driving in Mel Robbins and the freedom that comes from it. They'll hear it, they will feel the engagement, and that's what drives results. Because to wrap up, literally, as we say, the only way you get them to do something is for them to feel something. When you optimize your communications by leveraging your voice, they hear that authenticity. So those are just a few tips. I think I threw a couple bonus tips in too. So lastly, I have created this cool checklist of things, and these tips will be on that checklist. How do you get that checklist? It's easy. Drop me an email, jd@duffinmedia.com. Again, easy, jd@duffinmedia.com. When you do, all you have to say, I hate the expression, all you have to do. All you have to do it. All you have to say is checklist. Give me that checklist. I want that checklist. It's the tips from yesterday, today, and tomorrow will all be there so that you got them at the ready so you don't have to forget, right? And so what I wish for you, the ability to give yourself that freedom. Picture, for me, the driving with the top down and the wind going just so and feeling just that, how do you get that freedom? If you need to do a little long-term work, go do it. Do the preparation, which is long-term work, by the way, for the client meeting. Do the work so you're ready, right? Or for your team, have your facts straight. Know the material, know the story. But then maybe use the Navy SEALs breathing technique, use the body of evidence to put yourself in a position to be fully engaged, and don't sabotage yourself in regards to taking things off the table. So, folks, we're going to leave it at this. Remember, you want that checklist? Get at me, jd@duffinmedia.com. My website, you see right there, duffinmedia.com in the banner, right? So I thank all of you for showing up for me today, and we're going to get to do this again tomorrow. 3 more tips, at least 3 more tips, 3 more stories, 3 more solutions, 3 more lessons. All that stuff's going to roll. Folks, John Duffin here. Duffin Media, Duffin Coaching. Thanks so much for checking us out today. I am really, really grateful for you, for your time. And let's go. Remember, your next meeting, presentation, conversation, it matters. Go have at it and crush it. Have a great day, all. Be well. Thank you. Bye-bye.